Hello and welcome to this special discussion on the historic Bodo Peace Accord rally. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a mammoth rally in Kokrajhar today, sealing the Bodo Peace Accord and paving way for permanent peace in BTR. Prime Minister Modi congratulated the people of BTR on the historic breakthrough and exuded confidence that finally a permanent solution to the Bodo issue has been reached at. One significant aspect of the rally was the stress on the fact that the accord was all-inclusive and all communities and sections residing in BTR will reap its benefits. This is a significant development as till now the quote-unquote Bodo nationalism dominated the narrative in that part of the country. The fact that even top Bodo leaders stressed on the all-inclusive nature of the peace pact is perhaps a very strong indication that the community has accepted the accord with open arms and envisages to tread the path of peace and development. Development for all, mind you, not just for one community. The rally as such put forward its best foot in allaying fears of non-Bodos of being left out in the process. Prime Minister Modi, of course, congratulated the people of BTR and said this is the beginning of permanent peace in the area. Let's listen in to some of his remarks.
आप सभी के सहयोग से ही स्थायी शांति का, परमानेंट पीस का ये रास्ता निकल पाया है। आज का दिन असम सहित पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लिए 21वीं सदी में एक नई शुरुआत, एक नए सवेरे का, एक नई प्रेरणा को वेलकम करने का अवसर है। इस अकॉर्ड का लाभ बोडो जनजाति के साथियों के साथ ही दूसरे समाज के लोगों को भी होगा, क्योंकि इस समझौते के तहत बोडो टेरिटोरियल काउंसिल के अधिकारों का दायरा बढ़ाया गया है, अधिक सशक्त किया गया है। इस समझौते में सभी की जीत हुई है और सबसे बड़ी बात है शांति की जीत हुई है, मानवता की जीत हुई।
Victory for peace and development, said Prime Minister Modi. At the same time, from Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal to Assam Health and Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma to top Bodo leaders like Hagrama Mohilari and ABSU President Pramod Bodo, all stressed on the fact that this accord is all-inclusive and all communities and sections residing in BTR will reap its benefits. Let's listen in.
সমান্তৰালভাৱে এই বিকেডি এলেকাত বসবাস কৰা ৰাজবংশীয়ে হওক, কোচ ৰাজবংশীয়ে হওক, আদিবাসীয়ে হওক, গোৰ্খাই হওক, বেংগলীয়ে হওক বা বিভিন্ন ব্ৰাহ্মণে হওক, কোচে হওক, কলিতাই হওক, নাথ হওক, যোগী হওক, গাৰোৱে হওক, ৰাভাই হওক, হৰণীয়া কছাৰীয়ে হওক, মদাহীয়ে হওক, হিন্দুৱে হওক, মুছলমানে হওক, খ্ৰীষ্টানে হওক, বুদ্ধিষ্টে হওক, সকলোৱে আজি মৰ্যাদা সহকাৰে এই অঞ্চলত বসবাস কৰাৰ লগতে উন্নয়নৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত দৃঢ়তাৰে আগুৱাই যাব পাৰিব। মই বিশ্বাস ৰাখিছোঁ যে আগন্তুক দিনত আপোনালোক সকলোৱে মিলাপ্ৰীতিৰে আগন্তুক দিনত এই বৃহত্তৰ অসমীয়া জাতিটোক শক্তিশালী ৰূপত আগুৱাই নিয়াৰ নিমিত্তে প্ৰয়াস কৰিব।
मैं पुनः मोदी जी को असम वासी और उत्तर पूर्व वासियों का ओर से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। आपने ब्रू लोगों को 20 साल का बाद आपने न्याय दिलाया और हमारा बोरो हो और बोरो हो, मैं और बोरो टर्म्स यूज नहीं करना चाहता हूं। बोरोलैंड का सब जाति और उपजाति को आपने न्याय दिलाया, शांति दिलाया और आपने असम को बहुत आगे ले जाने का एक नया सपना आपने सार्थक किया।
शक्ति द्वारा अकल बड़ो सकल नय शक्ति द्वारा BTC অঞ্চলত যিমান জাতি জনগোষ্ঠী আছে কোনো চিন্তা কৰিব লগা নাই। বেংগলী হওক কোনো চিন্তা কৰিব লগা নাই, মুছলিম হওক, গাৰো হওক, ৰাভা হওক, আদিবাসী হওক, হিন্দীভাষী হওক, সবে আমাৰ BTCৰ বাসী ৰাইজ। আমি আগত যেনেকৈ আছে ভৱিষ্যতেও আমি একেলগে থাকি পেলাই এই বিটিচিৰ উন্নতিৰ কাৰণে আমি কাম কৰি যাম কোনো ভয় কৰিব লগা নাই এই শক্তি অকল বড়সকলৰ কাৰণে নহয় সকলো জাতি জনগোষ্ঠীৰ কাৰণে এই শক্তিটো সমানে অৱদান দিব সমানে আমি উন্নতি হ'ব যিকোনো জাতিৰ কোনো ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ কোনো কালচাৰ ডিপ্ৰাইভ নহব সকলো একেলগে আমি কাম কৰি যাম
ये एकॉर्ड में आपने सिर्फ बोडो लोगों के लिए नहीं किए हैं सर हमारे साथ रहने वाले आदिवासी भाइयों के लिए गोरखा भाइयों के लिए असमीज भाइयों के लिए जितने भी समुदाय यहाँ रहते हैं सभी को इस एकॉर्ड में कुछ ना कुछ आपने दिया है हम बचपन से वायलेंस से ही लड़ रहे थे सर इतना वायलेंस हुआ हमारे क्षेत्रों में हमारे इलाका में हमारे रीजन में हमारे बच्चे इसको झेलना पड़ रहा था सर तो ये जो एकॉर्ड है ये हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण एक एकॉर्ड है सर अपना लोगों এইটোৱে কৈছোঁ যে ইয়াত কোনো ভয় কৰিব লগা কাৰণ নাই সকলো জাতি জনগোষ্ঠী একেলগে মিলি পেলাই থাকিব পৰা এটা একৰ্ড হৈছে চুক্তি হৈছে সেইকাৰণে আপোনালোকে যাতে ইয়াত কোনো বড়ো জাতিৰ প্ৰতি কোনো বেয়া ভাৱ নাৰাখে মই আপোনালোকক এই সময়ত অনুৰোধ কৰিছোঁ যি হওক সকলো জনগোষ্ঠীৰ কাৰণে একেলগে আমি মান সন্মানেৰে ভাতৃত্ববোধেৰে জীয়াই থকাৰ কাৰণে এটা সুযোগ পাইছোঁ এই চুক্তিৰ দ্বাৰা ইয়াত অসমৰ একো ক্ষতি নহয় বড়োসকলৰ একো ক্ষতি নহয় অনাবৰৰ একো ক্ষতি নহয় কোনো জনগোষ্ঠীৰ একো ক্ষতি নোহোৱাকৈ ইমান সুন্দৰ এটা একৰ্ড কৰিছে অসম চৰকাৰ ভাৰত চৰকাৰ মিলি আমি ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ
So the message loud and clear there even from the top Bodo leaders that this accord is all inclusive and nobody needs to fear anything. Before we get going with the discussion, let's get an update from our correspondent Joydeep Saikia who was at the spot of the rally earlier in the day.
PM Modi's massive rally today came to an end at about 2:30 in the afternoon. This rally was attended by PM Modi, Governor Jagdish Mukhi, CM Sarbananda Sonowal, NEDA convener Himanta Biswa Sharma, as well as BTC Chief Bhagra Mohilari, APSU President Pramod Bodo, and a host of other leaders. We saw a large, we saw massive participation from the people from the Bodo community. In fact, inside the attendance was touted to be somewhere around 5 lakhs. But even outside the venue, a large crowds of people were seen gathered, just standing by to hear the PM speak. So definitely, it was a big rally by PM Modi. In fact, perhaps one of the largest rallies with such huge attendance by so many people who came over from all over the state. Behind me, obviously, you can see all the arrangements which are now which were full of people just a couple of hours back, but now they have all gone definitely. And on the road, I would like to show you people going off, people going away, the people going away, moving back to their respective homes. Now that the rally has concluded, just a couple of hours back, all over this place was jam-packed with people. But now it is slowly giving way. People are moving away. But definitely today it was a rally to remember. And now it is to be seen how much fruition comes from the promises that PM Modi has made to the people of the state and the Bodo community in particular. With cameraman Jitu Mani, this is Joydeep Saikia reporting from Kokrajhar for Northeast Live.
So a massive turnout, clearly the atmosphere is euphoric, a massive rally. The Prime Minister himself said he has not seen a rally bigger than this in his political career so far. To carry further discussion, I am being joined by Professor Perish Biswas of NEHU from Shillong. Thank you so much for being with us. And in the studios, I have Pramod Tiwari, senior journalist. If I can go straight to Professor Biswas, the turnout and the mood sums it up. Can we term the Bodo Accord a success already, or is it too early?
The euphoria around the new accord is always fascinating, and the kind of crowd and the crowd cheering has been really laudable. But there are contentious areas of the accord, such as alteration of the area of BTAD under Clause 3. So a commission has to be appointed to include villages contiguous to BTAD and having majority tribal population, and also exclusion of villages currently under BTAD which are contiguous to non-6 schedule areas. This is going to be an immensely difficult exercise, if not contentious. Then the question of reserving land and employment and also reserving political representation in the newly to be formed council is again another contentious area. No one knows which community can really muster enough strength to ensure their representation so that the clauses of this memorandum of settlement are truly implemented. Apart from that, the proposition of having a central university, proposition of having NIT, and several such institutional measures to promote industrial development is certainly very, very welcome. But it requires meticulous resource planning, and for resource planning, there should have been a kind of a planning authority which it lacks. It only talks about special developmental package. Now, packages are not good enough, as we know, from the previous past two accords unless there is proper resource planning and management. Therefore, the fine lines and fine print of the accord needs to be a little more calibrated in a manner that it could be implemented in the right way.
Now, if Pramod Tiwari, if we just take today's rally, for instance, if you remember, just before the signing of the peace accord, the BDC chief Hagrama Mohilari had even indirectly accused the APSU of giving up on the separate Bodoland demand, which he in a way termed as unfortunate. So apprehensions were high at that point in time that the separate Bodoland issue may surface once again, despite the centre's effort to bring all the sections, civil society, political parties on board to sign this fresh historic Bodo Accord. But seeing the mood, the euphoria today and the kind of turnout, can we safely say, as the Prime Minister said, yes, peace, permanent peace has been reached at? Can we assume now, after seeing the rally today, that yes, the issue of separate Bodoland has been put to rest for good?
In my view, the remarks by Hagrama Mohilari is part of the internal politics of the Bodo area. Number two, you see the massive turnout in today's rally suggests that the issue of separate Bodoland is over once for all. Just from the signing of the peace accord, you see the euphoria and the enthusiasm in the BTR region. People were very happy because all the stakeholders were on the board. They signed the accord, and I don't think that and today's message from the Hagrama Mohilari, Pramod Bodo and other Bodo leaders that suggest that Bodoland, separate Bodoland is no more an issue.
Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, do you think we will see the narrative change in a way in BTR now post the signing of the accord, in the sense that all this while probably the politics of BTR was in a way focused on quote-unquote Bodo nationalism, but we had the local MP Nava Saranya saying earlier in the day that non-Boros have to be taken along, they should be a part of the process. So clearly a different kind of politics has already started, do you think?
A politics of accommodation has begun, but it has to go a long way, primarily because the non-Bodos who are still to be reconciled because of a long history of violence, and even Bodos who have suffered due to violence, all of them have to be given reparation and compensation. For example, Bodo Sahitya Sabha's chairperson Bineshwar Brahma's family is yet to receive any reparation. Priya Basumatari's family is yet to receive any reparation, and there are internally displaced people in various places, in camps in the existing Bodoland area. They are to be rehabilitated. So there is no rehabilitation package in this agreement. So this needs to be separately worked out in order to implement the Bodo Accord, third Bodo Accord in the true sense.
But then, do you see a change of stand today in a way? Of course, apart from the Prime Minister, the Assam Chief Minister, even top Bodo leaders, the BDC Chief Hagrama Mohilari, APSU President Pramod Bodo, everybody stressing on the fact that this accord is all inclusive and that non-Bodos have nothing to fear. Everybody will be taken along. Everybody will reap the benefits of the accord. This statement, this kind of statements coming from the top Bodo leaders, don't you think it is a beginning at least? And we can hope for things to go in the right direction. Of course, implementation of the accord still remains the key, but still, perhaps that's a different narrative that we got to see today, and it's heartening in a way.
Yes, it's heartening, but later on what should follow is a totally violence-free, corruption-free functioning of the territorial or regional council. Will that happen or not? On that I am slightly skeptic, because people who are deeply involved in a certain kind of corruption and people who have remained on the bay and people who have been excluded in various ways and those who are internally displaced, for them what is there in the accord, that has to be seen. The implementation process has to be inclusive. Although the fine print of the accord has many lacuna, and one can say that the accord may not be able to cover every issue and the problem. The other important thing is, because of anti-car movement, the central government has taken all the initiative to resolve the problems of Assam. So it is in that light the accord has to be contextualized. Therefore, one has to see to what extent inclusion happens and to what extent in the process of implementation non-Bodo interest and the claims of their legitimate demands are also resolved in the process of implementation.
The same question to you, Pramod Tiwari. Today's statements by the top Bodo leaders, and even we had these positive. I term it positive because that's a change from the past. What we have seen, taking the talk of taking non-Bodos along, that can be a new chapter in the history of BTAD, now BTR.
Yes, of course. I think a new chapter has already started in the history of BTR. All the leaders are telling that the accord is inclusive and non-Bodos are nothing to fear about, number one. Number two, as the professor said, that there is a implementation part of the accord. If implementation is transparent, if there is honest implementation of the accord, then I don't see any problem, because through this accord the BTR is getting more legislative, administrative, executive and financial power. Once finance pour in the region, there will be development, and I think that everybody will reap the benefits of the development.
Now, Dr. Biswas, Prime Minister Modi did not speak much about the CAA in the rally today. Of course, that's understood. But how significant and how big was keeping the Bodo Peace Accord apart? How significant was this rally for the BJP, especially in the state of Assam, where it has faced a backlash of sorts in majority parts due to the anti-CAA protests? How big was this an occasion for the BJP?
No, most of the rallyists may not be in favor of CAA, that BJP must have realized. So BJP is turning them towards a developmental package. And this is the kind of political maneuvering that happens in politics. And therefore, the large attendance can be taken as a kind of a swinging of the tide towards BJP. But one may not be very sure that this entire tide will finally get converted into electoral benefits when the next council election happens. But it is also true that some of the newly joined outfits and their signatories might opt for BJP as an alliance, because it is BJP which has given them such a package. Therefore, for BJP, it's a prospective virgin land which they might be able to politically exploit by turning some people in their party and by striking up good alliances with other Bodo political factions.
Pramod Tiwari, do you think the Prime Minister's presence in this rally, it was also an indication, it was also a statement rather to say that, okay, despite the CAA, the BJP stands for the development of the region in solving the region's issues, and that's what the NDA has been doing for the last 5 years. So, and that's why we should be accepted. To try and send that kind of a message, not just to Assam, but the entire region.
Prime Minister's message was very loud and clear. He told in the rally, he told that he is for the development of Northeast, number one. For Ka, he said that some vested interest groups are spreading misinformation about the act. And number three, for clause 6, he told that after receiving the report from the committee, we are going to implement the clause 6 very immediately. We are going to implement it, and we are not the people of he used the word latkane jhatkane wala people. We are very much committed to implement it. These three things are, I think, it will give a sigh of relief to the BJP supporters in the region.
Well, Dr. Biswas, with the developments in BTR right now, it is almost a certainty that new political equations will surface, and it seems the way the BJP has strategized things for itself, at least for the BTR, it would stand to be benefited, irrespective of whether, say, tomorrow, even if Pramod Bodo decides to jump into electoral politics, or for that matter, any other new entrants. The BJP has strategized itself in such a way that it would stand to benefit. Are these the signals that we're already finding? Because Hagrama Mohilari seemed a bit shaken at least before the signing of the accord. But the BJP clearly has kept its road clear as far as the electoral battle is concerned.
I think that Hagrama Mohilari still has the largest amount of support. And in the rally, his faction has mobilized most of the people. APSU still is a latent organization and it cannot really turn into a political body. All Bodo Sahitya Sabha also cannot join into politics directly. Therefore, these civil society, para-political groups from within the Bodo society cannot immediately become the political mobilization point for the BJP. They will maintain certain distance with the BJP, and Hagrama Mohilari still holds the sway despite Govinda Basumatari claiming a new kind of leadership. Now that the Bodo factions have submitted their arms, now without arms in the democratic politics, one who holds the largest support base among the people, they will hold the sway. Earlier, carrying arms and fighting probably create a kind of a threat or intimidation on the democratic forces, which now cannot happen. Now democratic forces will rule the roost over the people who were earlier militia. Therefore, Hagrama Mohilari has a greater chance of holding on to power than Govinda Basumatari or any such other faction.
And do you think there is there's a room to play a lot of politics over the implementation of the accord? Now that it's been signed, all eyes are on the proper implementation, and you also pointed out the various concerns and the various issues that might be a factor. So do you think we have electoral battles coming up, we have an election coming up in Assam, assembly elections very soon. So do you think there is enough room for playing politics over the implementation of the accord and the power struggle therein?
I can tell you one thing, that implementation is not going to be fast-tracked, because there is no ministry of implementation, nor there is any secretary in the Prime Minister's office to oversee implementation. It will entirely depend on Dispur and the state government. Now I remember Bodofa Upendranath Brahma saying that the bureaucrats of the Assam government will never have that positive attitude of implementing such an accord very, very fast. I don't think there is a sea change in attitude as far as bureaucracy and governance in Assam is concerned, unless central government can push very hard its BJP partners in Assam government. The accord will not be fast-tracked, and therefore lot of promises will remain unfulfilled before the elections. And therefore election is going to see an aggressive questioning of the promises that are made in the accord itself.
Pramod Tiwari, just digressing a bit, in today's rally, apart from, though the Prime Minister did not name any rebel group, Assam Health and Finance Minister, of course, yet again reached out to the Alpha Independent and appealed to it to join the peace talks. This, despite the recovery of the IEDs that had created sensation in Guwahati just ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. Do you think there is any chance of the Alpha reciprocating? Because the Assam government has made it clear that, the government of India would be probably ready to discuss anything under the sun.
I foresee that Alpha Sadhin Independent leader Perish Biswas will come to the talk table with the government of India, because if he choose to not to come for talk, then I think he will be isolated, because most of the Alpha leaders are in talk with the government of India, Anup Chetia, Rajkhowa and all other leaders except Perish Biswas. When the things are changing in such a way, Bodos have signed a peace accord with government of India. Peace accord with the Naga rebels are in pipeline. These two are the major rebellion forces in northeast regions. If now Perish Biswas choose not to come for talk with the government of India, then I think he will be isolated, and I think that he don't have any other alternative.
Does he need to come? That is something we will keep for another discussion. My last question to you, Professor Prasenjit Biswas, what could be the way forward from here as far as proper implementation is concerned, and do you foresee that happening, the centre and the Assam governments really getting into the act instead of any possible delaying tactics?
Because the implementation will depend on formation of several commissions and committees. Therefore, this is a bureaucratic hassle which is already embedded in the accord. Now, there should be an accord implementation ministry dedicated for this accord, which should be operating from Delhi as well as from Dishpur. How that will happen, I am not very clear. So, accord has tall promises, but it is short on the methodology of implementing those promises. Then that remains as a kind of a lacuna of this accord, which is otherwise very tall in making a lot of promises.
Well, implementation still remains the key as far as the Bodo Peace Accord is concerned, but keeping that apart, today we can safely say it was a success story. It was euphoria all around, and the big turnout suggested that people are looking forward to positive things, to development and peace in the long term. That's a wrap of this discussion. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas and Pramod Tiwari, for joining us.